Right, I am so excited to be doing more X's and O's. This Lions game breakdown, there was so much that I learned from this, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this video, talking about it. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, I was so incredibly impressed. Like, just looks superb, but equally, that offensive line is so immaculately built to work in unison. It's like watching a ballet. It is absolutely amazing. Then you've got like the effort levels of Sam LaPorta, and in this game, I don't think I saw anybody lay a single finger on Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St is elite. Even Jameson Williams is really jumping in there and doing his job in the blocking game. There's so much in this video to break down, and I'm really hoping that I can do a good job of it. I massively appreciate the support on the Bryce Young version of this video that we did. This kind of fans perspective X's and O's thing, it created such good engagement with the community in the comments. People kind of leaving comments about what they could see from these clips, because I don't claim to know everything, all right? I am not a coach. Clearly, by the accent, I didn't grow up in the US. I didn't grow up around the game. I haven't been born into learning formations and playing pee-wee football. So a lot of this stuff is just me looking at what I can see and breaking it down as I can from a fan's perspective. That is the purpose of these videos. Now, the next one coming up over the weekend is the Miami Dolphins collapse in week 17 and week 18 of the regular season. So we're doing two games in that video, both the Baltimore Ravens game in week 17 and the Buffalo Bills game in week 18 before they went into the playoffs and lost at Kansas City. So we're going to look at what went wrong and how they might correct that with the introduction of people like Odell Beckham Jr. for this season, what happened with the offensive line, what were Tua's mistakes, all those things. So that should be a great video that we're going to get into a little later this week. So please do subscribe and stick around for that. But today, I really want to focus on what might be the most exciting offense in the NFL. So if you're a Lions fan, if you're a football fan in general, however you're watching this video, I want this to be a space for you to openly communicate in the comments about what you can see, any questions you might have, and let other people in the community answer those questions. Because there are people watching this video that have more knowledge than me, that will see things that I didn't see, that maybe have done some coaching or did play football at a various level and can offer more knowledge than I can. That's the whole point. I want people to consume football this way rather than the media and the shouting and all that stuff. That winds me up. So this is how I like to try and understand football for myself. And like watching this, I grew my respect for Penei Sewell so unbelievably much. That's not even a sentence that makes any sense, but he is phenomenal. And when you look at the contract he just got and the Detroit Lions paying him that contract, he's worth every penny of it. So let's look at this video. So without further ado, let's get into the game tape, talk about this game, talk about these players, and break it all down and just have a great time together watching some film. Okay, so play number one is going to be a deep completion to Amon-Ra St really early in this game. Now, on the far side, you're going to get the receiver run a short in route, and then Derwin James is going to break on that route, which leaves Amon-Ra St wide open over the top. Now, the Chargers only rush 3 on this because Joey Bosa breaks down and covers the running back. So Amon-Ra St ends up in one-on-one coverage against the safety, and it's just like the Chargers didn't stand a chance here. There's zero pressure on Jared Goff. He has all the time in the world to allow Amon-Ra St to get open. And with the way that Amon-Ra plays this game, I said when he came out of college that he's not the fastest player in the world, but he plays the game fast. It's difficult for defenders to keep up with him. And like this sort of stuff, you're going to get carved up if you're doing this against the Detroit Lions. Again, anything that you guys see from these clips, feel free to leave a timestamp. Let me know the name of the play call, any of that sort of stuff that you might be able to share with me and the community in the comments. This is all a learning experience. This one's a run for Jahmyr Gibbs, and I want to watch the 3 offensive linemen on the right-hand side. So the center, the right guard, and the offensive tackle in Penei Sewell. In creating this lane, this is what I mean about this offensive line. Like, I won't pretend that I've watched years and years of offensive line gameplay or anything like that, but I can see a good rep when I can see one, right? So these 3 offensive linemen, you get Penei Sewell blocking to the outside. The gap is clearly between the right guard and the tackle. So the center helps to kind of double. So you can see Frank Ragnow and the center double this guy to create that lane in between the right tackle and the right guard. But Ragnow will then, with awareness, break off of that as Kenneth Murray breaks down on this run and seal off the linebacker as well. So it's just like, I'll let's run it in full speed because I want to pause it at the point where he engages with Kenneth Murray. So watch the center, gets off of that, and then seals Kenneth Murray here. And then the rest is all Jahmyr Gibbs. So the gap here is like Penei Sewell's sealing that edge. You've got the right guard turning his body to seal from the outside in, and then Jahmyr Gibbs is going to run through that gap. Now this, at this point, and you can see the wide receiver here, I'm not sure which receiver that is, but he is also making an extremely good block down the field. At this point, this becomes a one-on-one between Jahmyr Gibbs and this safety. If Jahmyr Gibbs cuts back inside here, this is probably a touchdown. He chooses to just outrun him to the boundary, and 99 times out of 100, Jahmyr Gibbs, with the player that he is becoming in the NFL, is going to make the first defender miss. So I just love this. Like, it doesn't look like there's a lot of space here, but Jahmyr Gibbs is in the open field right here. Like, with this seal-off block from the wide receiver, the offensive line doing a great job here, and Frank Ragnow with the double block too. And it might be like, I'm not sure if that's a chip block or what you would call that, but he breaks off of the right guard and then turns and seals Kenneth Murray as the incoming linebacker as well, which helps to create this space. And it's just like, it's great to watch it in motion. But Jahmyr Gibbs will then beat that guy to the sideline. He did a great job of like setting him up like he was going inside and then going outside. But if he makes that guy miss, like if he was to break back inside, maybe Derwin James would get him. So he might have made the right decision to go to the sideline here, but just a great play. And you'll see it again from the second angle with what I'm talking about with the offensive line. So let's just watch it in motion from this angle. Watch Frank Ragnow as Kenneth Murray tries to break down on this play. Seal there, seal him off, and Jahmyr Gibbs is gone. Like, these guys, the offensive line combined with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery just creates this amazing looking offense. Now this one, the highlight for me was Penei Sewell again. So this one is a run to the right. It's a toss right to Jahmyr Gibbs. Penei Sewell, again, Kenneth Murray had a bad time playing against this offensive line. I'll tell you that much. Penei Sewell this time around, as Kenneth Murray tries to break down on this, they've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men on the line for this play. So it's a toss right. Brock Wright gets out in front on the right-hand side. But Penei Sewell is just so unbelievably athletic for an offensive lineman. He's out in front. He sees Kenneth Murray coming, gives him a shove, and he actually knocks Kenneth Murray about 5 yards down the field. So really nicely done. Watch this. Penei Sewell gives him a shove, and he's like, just Kenneth Murray's no longer in that play at that point. Completely knocked off balance. It's this kind of thing that makes me think that Penei Sewell's getting the money that he deserves, because he is everywhere, and the effort level from him on every single play. Look at him. He gets out in front. He realizes that Kenneth Murray's going to be the guy that he needs to get onto. And this is what I'm talking about with Jahmyr Gibbs in the open field. Like, one-on-one, when you create these one-on-ones for Jahmyr Gibbs against the defender, like, so look, Kenneth Murray's out of this, and with the blocks, you've got the block here from the tight end. You've got this seal-off block here on 45. This right here becomes between Jahmyr Gibbs and 32. Like, and that's just the battle between the one-on-one with what we're left with after these blocks. Look at this. Kenneth Murray is completely out of this play. Penei Sewell has him sealed off, and then watch Jahmyr Gibbs. Makes them like 32's on his knees. And that wasn't the only time that happened in this game. Just one more time at full speed between Jahmyr Gibbs and Gilman. Watch the way this play sets up, and it ends up a lane one-on-one, and then look at where Gilman ends up. Jahmyr Gibbs is a baller. Do you know one of the things that upsets me? The word baller doesn't sound right coming out of a UK person's mouth as it does with the US. Like, baller sounds so much better than me going, he's a baller. Like, it sounds horrendous. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on. Clip number 4. Now, again here, watch the effort of the offensive line, Sam LaPorta. So Sam LaPorta's going in motion across the field here. So he and Brock Wright are going to create this seal on the right-hand side. It's another toss right to Jahmyr Gibbs. The line creates the gap for him, and the rest is all Jahmyr Gibbs with the vision that he has, right? So watch them create the gap. Sam LaPorta plays this game at 100 miles an hour. Everything, he is full speed on every single play, whether he's blocking, chip blocking, running a route down the field, whatever he is doing. Even if a receiver has already caught the football, he's trying to get down the field with them to create more space. Again, the respect level for this offense and the players within this offense grew so much in making this video. So Sam LaPorta is sealing that gap off on the right-hand side. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, look, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get through this line without being touched. And then arm tackle, that's not going to work. He's too fast for that. And then watch his vision to see the space. He could have gone this way. He probably would have run into a gap there. And if he comes left, things look pretty promising for him. So he breaks back to the left, all the way back across the field. And then it's just speed. And I think he ends up 1 yard short of a touchdown on this. But Same thing. Jahmyr Gibbs, like the offensive line is allowing Jahmyr Gibbs the space to go and work. And then his skill set for that position is elite, which kind of makes me think this is why everybody was wrong about Brad Holmes drafting Jahmyr Gibbs where he did, because maybe this was the exact vision that he, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell had for him. But watch Sam LaPorta. So he comes off and seals 45, throws him out the play. Eric Kendricks gets lost in the wash. And then like Jahmyr Gibbs at this point, and let me just rewind it just a couple of seconds, but Jahmyr Gibbs is jogging almost into this gap. Like he's got good speed, but watch the second level. Like watch the, like now hits the, like, and then he's just on the gas, and it's like a different level of speed once he's in the open field, and then gets all the way down to like the 1 yard line. But again, the blocking on this, Sam LaPorta coming across, Eric Kendricks getting washed up in it. Kenneth Murray's lost in it too, with the offensive line just creating a wall down the field, and the like Jahmyr Gibbs is off to the races. Just a phenomenal play. Now, I said that Kenneth Murray had a rough time in this game. Watch David Montgomery here. It looks like he's going to go behind the left guard into that gap. Kenneth Murray feels it, gone. Just like finds a different lane, hits an open gap. Like these running backs, their vision in this game was amazing. I know it's not the best defense, but it's really enjoyable to watch these guys go to work. Okay, now this one is a fake handoff turned into running back screen where kind of Jahmyr Gibbs just slips out the back door. Nice play design this. Jared Goff gets it back to Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's got 3 offensive linemen out in front of him. And again, this is just allowing your playmaker to work in the open field. But look at the seal that they have for Jahmyr Gibbs to just run down this sideline. If this is a better block, this might be a touchdown, because this DB comes all the way across the field this time. And then again, it's just setting Jahmyr Gibbs up in a one-on-one situation with the safety. So this didn't quite work as perfectly as it could have done from the offensive line. I think if they were one man up in their assignment, and I'll show you what I mean, then it might have ended up a touchdown. But again, look, Jahmyr Gibbs, one-on-one with this guy, no problem, beats him easily. Then it actually ends up being Eric Kendricks that drags him down. So nicely done from Kendricks to catch up with it, I suppose. But for in the same sentence, should maybe have been a better play from the Lions offensively. So look, let's see Jahmyr Gibbs get this out here. Now, what I'm talking about is one of these offensive linemen ends up turning back around to block here. Whereas if that block was actually taken care of, 60 moves down the field one further, and they managed to get a guy down here on the safety. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to run behind that all the way down the field. So Derwin James actually does a decent job to get round this, get off of it, and kind of try and make a play. He at least does his job to force Jahmyr Gibbs back inside. And I know that that is something that is absolutely taught in the league or in NFL football in general for cornerbacks and guys who play DB. Someone should teach that to Eli Apple. Wait for Friday's video. You will never see a more frustrating set of game tape than what I saw from Eli Apple on the Dolphins roster last season. But alas, Jahmyr Gibbs comes back inside, and then he's just working in the open field, and he actually ends up getting caught up here. But look at this, right? Penei Sewell had an unbelievable game in this game. On this play, he felt like he let Eric Kendricks go. So he's got his head in his hands, right? This is what this Detroit Lions team is capable of, because this is a 30-yard gain. And Penei Sewell is head in hands, should have been a touchdown. They have the mindset of a Super Bowl team, I'm telling you that. Now, several things I like about this one, but the first thing that I want to focus on is the communication between right guard and the right tackle. So on this play, I don't know, again, I'm not a genius when it comes to this stuff. I'm just picking out the stuff that I can see, but very late, the DB ends up blitzing off the edge, right? So Penei Sewell, you can see very quickly, left hand out to indicate that he's passing that guy off, and he steps out to run off this DB blitz. Like it's, because otherwise this DB is going to run straight into Jared Goff on this play action. But like this is all Penei Sewell. Like as far as I understand it, and I can't see another way that this would kind of be communicated, but this is a late DB blitz. So if this isn't Penei Sewell's job to like understand that, make sure he hands off the edge rusher to the offensive guard so their alignment shift, like, because this DB like right last second ends up blitzing off the edge, and Penei Sewell, all right, passes him off and then runs that DB out towards the backside to give Jared Goff enough space to make this throw. Now, he is under pressure on this one. This is the closest I saw a defensive tackle get to him in this game. But with these two crossing routes coming across here, they've run off the deep safety with a deep route here. And then you've got Jameson Williams on a crosser and Amon-Ra St. Brown behind. I mean, at this point, take your pick. It's whichever side of the linebacker you want to throw. Look, this is wide open. This is wide open coming across the field here as well. Goff probably makes the right read, but I think just trying to get this football out on a pump fake, it ends up being an imperfect throw, but it's still a completion down the field. Now, this is just one of your elite playmakers bailing you out, because this is a late throw from Jared Goff, and it's into 3 players. It should have been picked off by the safety, really, but Amon-Ra St somehow manages to come down with this catch. And for a defense that was struggling on this day, like, a play like this is pretty deflating, because this is thrown into trouble. And like, for Goff to believe that he can fit that in there to Amon-Ra St and get away with it is pretty surprising. And you can see these guys just like kind of stunned that somehow that went in there. But not Jared Goff's best throw of the day, but again, in terms of the pocket, look at this. Look at this. Like, you're not gonna, this is crazy. For him to be able to work like that is crazy. If he had any mobility, and like, I love Jared Goff. I'm a big Jared Goff guy, and I love that he has rescued or reinvigorated his career with the Detroit Lions. He deserves all the praise and the finances that he's getting right now for what he's been through, coming out the other side of it. Everyone wrote him off when he was sent to Detroit, and now look at him, right? He might last longer than Matt Stafford, although Stafford's won a ring. All right, whatever. But look at this. Like, for a quarterback, this is crazy at the NFL level. And it's a mix of this being an elite level offensive line and like a really struggling defense. But for the same token, to have that much space, and you can see Jared Goff kind of like took a little bounce after throwing that football to be like, oh, maybe shouldn't have dropped that one in there, but still gets away with it because he's got Amon-Ra St on the other end of it. All right, next up, just a little goal mouth action. We won't kind of go into this one too much, but you've got 2 pulling guards creating that space and Jahmyr Gibbs down on the goal line. I threw this one in here because a lot of people, and myself included as a dynasty owner of Jahmyr Gibbs, there's the concern that like David Montgomery might get the lion's share of kind of, pun intended, of the kind of goal line carries for this team. But Jahmyr Gibbs can do that work too. You know, a lot of the concern with Gibbs was like, is he capable of running between the tackles? When you have an offensive line like this, I feel like maybe I could run between the tackles. And I'm what, like 140 pounds or something crazy. Anyway, you know, this, like, there's one guy here, he slips this tackle. He's got such amazing balance as well, Jahmyr Gibbs. Very rarely is, as I like press play and he falls to the ground. But you get my point. He's able to kind of navigate through those gaps. And these guys, like, he's just running behind an incredible offensive line. Now, this play stood out to me for multiple reasons, and I'll move this down so we can see it. So, offensive line, again, huge, like, just an incredible job of creating this space. Look at the seal and the gap. There's always a lane for these Detroit Lions running backs. They have done such a good job of coaching this offensive line to work as a unit. Every single play, the offensive line works perfectly as a group. Look at the gap. It's setting the running back up at the second level to go and make a play. Like, if you watch this compared to what Najee Harris has been dealing with in the last couple of seasons in Pittsburgh, it's getting better now, but it's very, very different to what we're looking at here. He could go wherever he wants with this, and it ends up being a touchdown from their own, 22-yard line or something like that. So David Montgomery cuts back through this gap, then he cuts back the other way, and it's that second juke that breaks this wide open. But then I want you to watch Jameson Williams. So David Montgomery comes through here, and the guy trying to make the tackle is actually this corner on the far side. So he comes back across. Incredible vision from David Montgomery, sets that guy up, and then as he collapses, 3 guys get wrapped up in that. So now David Montgomery's off to the races. Now watch Jameson Williams, because there are 2 guys here. I think it's Asante Samuel and Derwin James that could catch and will catch David Montgomery. He's not the fastest running back in the NFL. You know who is fast? Jameson Williams. Now, again, incredible coaching, because none of this is an offensive passing, not offensive pass interference, but like an illegal block in the back or anything down the field. All Jameson Williams does is get in the way. Look at this. Just gets in the way, gets onto Asante Samuel. Like, this isn't a touchdown without him, and I love the way he celebrates when David Montgomery gets in. That is an unselfish play, and again, you've got the whole team bought into what the mission is here. Doesn't matter who scores. None of that matters. They're celebrating their blocks. Amon-Ra St gets one, and then watch Jameson Williams. Look, hits the second gear, speed, gets 3 out of the way, helps Asante Samuel to the ground nice and tidily, and he's not a big guy. Jameson Williams is not a big guy, but sometimes all you need is to use your mindset to make sure that this breaks wide open. So like, David Montgomery gets out there, and then he's with him every step, and then just overruns Derwin James so he doesn't have an angle to David Montgomery, then throws his body in the way of Asante Samuel without it being an illegal block downfield, and David Montgomery's in for a touchdown. This is a team play, and I just love to look at Jameson Williams celebrating this. He loves it. And then Amon-Ra St and David Montgomery are off celebrating in the end zone. Like, these guys are playing for each other. Okay, nice sideline throw from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St on this one. It's just like an out route from Amon-Ra St. They get a first down out of it and then a few extra yards. Good throw, good positioning from Jared Goff. But the guy I want you to watch on this play is actually Sam LaPorta, right? So the motion there is Brock Wright comes across and Sam LaPorta is over here. Now, this is Joey Bosa, and I don't think that Joey Bosa is quite the player that he used to be, but still, he's a pretty highly regarded edge rusher, right? Who at least in his prime was one of the best in the NFL. Now, Sam LaPorta, who is a tight end, not an offensive lineman, comes across here, and I don't know what you would call this. So maybe it's a misdirection or a counter or something. Please do let me know. This is clip number 11 that we're going through in today's video. So fake handoff. Sam LaPorta is this guy here coming across this way. Now watch this. Gets to Joey Bosa, and now we've got a one-on-one between a tight end and an edge rusher. And Jared Goff, again, all the time in the world. But watch Sam LaPorta play this, like, gets his hands on him, stays on his front, keeps pushing. He plays this like an offensive lineman. Now, he didn't hold on the end there. I think maybe if he'd held on for a second longer, it might have been. But look at this. Like a true offensive lineman to shift him around Jared Goff to get that playoff. Again, just all of these guys, they are all so incredibly well coached, well disciplined. It just, like, I'm so impressed. All right, so I don't know the name of the play design or what it might be, or even the progression for Jared Goff here, but if you guys have information on this, please do drop it in the comments and let me know. But I just really liked the design of this to get Amon-Ra St. open coming across the field. So he's going to run this crossing route here coming this way that we've seen multiple times in this game already. Then you've got Jameson Williams is going to run a deep post over the top, and then the tight end is going to run this kind of shallow crosser and just sit in here. David Montgomery is going to run a wheel route to the outside like this. So this is what Jared Goff ends up going to with Amon-Ra St. across the middle, but this shallow route from the tight end holds this corner down here. The linebacker ends up, I think it's Joey Bosa, ends up coming out to the running back. The safety runs off with Jameson Williams, and what that creates is this one-on-one between Amon-Ra St. and this guy. And obviously Amon-Ra St. in break is going to be closer than Gilman, and he ends up again wide open for a huge gain going across the field. So again, just a really nice design, but I'll pause it at the point that Jared Goff makes the throw because you'll see what I'm talking about here. So the ball's out. So this guy's breaking short. Derwin James is running off with the deep man, and then you've got Gilman coming across the field. He's already like 4 or 5 yards away from Amon-Ra St. at the point that this throw is made. So ends up wide open. He beats Derwin James to the edge, and again, like, just a huge gain for the offense. It's so good. Now, this is the very next play. It's a screen back to Amon-Ra St. that ends up in a walk-in touchdown. And again, nobody touches him. Now, Taylor Decker does a great job coming off at left tackle here. They do just enough with the fake to the right to send Eric Kendricks onto his heels. So he ends up out of this as well. And Amon-Ra St. just strolls in for a touchdown. So again, motion across to the right. You can see the fake handoff to David Montgomery has kind of all the action going that way. Eric Kendricks is the main one that kind of gets pulled out of this play. The screen goes to Amon-Ra St. You've got the left tackle coming off the offensive line to get downfield and create a block. Another block from the wide receiver out on the edge does his job to create that seal. And then look at this. It's just Taylor Decker against the safety and Amon-Ra St. in literally a walk-in situation. Just completely clear. And the cool thing about this is that Taylor Decker doesn't even need to do anything to the safety. Look at this. Like, just nudges him just enough. It's enough. They do enough to get their man in the end zone. And again, it's just, they make it look so easy. And I know I've picked one of kind of the worst defenses in the NFL, but just the display, like, and Amon-Ra picks this ball up off the turf as well, pretty much, to kind of score on this. Great seal on the edge, good seal from the offensive tackle, just like, it's like a perfectly oiled machine. The other question I have about this is what the name is for the left guard pulling that way and everybody else coming this way. I just want to know if there's like terminology for that. So you'll see as Brock Wright goes across the field that the left guard pulls to the right-hand side in kind of like, because I think it might be that motion from 73, which is Jonah Jackson, I think. It might be that motion that has Eric Kendricks going across the field because he can see the pulling guard, right? So is that a whole part of this play design that the guard is pulling to the right, which sends the linebacker that way, and then they misdirect everything back the other way? I'm just interested in like what that pulling and kind of coming back the other way, what the kind of wording for that would be. But anyway, either way, just an amazing play. And again, like to have your guy be able to stroll into the end zone from like 20, 25 yards out without anybody touching him in the red zone, so good. This one just shows how fluid Sam LaPorta can be in running a route. Like, he just wins here against the safety. Like, again, Gilman and Kenneth Murray were just like, this was a tough day for those guys. But for all the things that Sam LaPorta does so well in the run game and in supporting his wide receivers, as a receiving tight end, like, he could be the #1 tight end in fantasy this year. I'm really kind of do genuinely believe that he might be the best offensive tight end, the best tight end in fantasy football this year, because like as a rookie, look how effective he was. He had 10 touchdowns in his rookie season and just like runs this route, wins to the outside, like good catch downfield. And again, like 15, 18 yards on the play. Now this one, it was just nice to kind of throw a Sam LaPorta catch in there because like I love all the stuff that he does in the blocking game and in supporting his wide receivers and the run game and everything. Like he is just a great talent to have in your offense. He's so bought in already, but as a receiving tight end, he led the league in touchdowns as well. So he's not just doing all of this stuff to like block Joey Bosa or throw a block in there for the run game. He also caught more touchdowns, like nearly twice as many more touchdowns than any other tight end in football last year, and might be like coming up as the best receiving tight end in the game. So watch out for this guy because I think he is a budding superstar. Now, again, this one is like poetry in motion. You get the right guard and the right tackle pull from right to left. The right guard is going to seal the edge and make sure that kind of that edge rusher doesn't slip out there and get an ankle, like a heels tackle on Amon-Ra St. Brown. The handoff goes to St. Brown and Penei Sewell. So I don't know if this was on purpose, and I'll show you again from the second angle. But I think, again, it's the IQ, the football IQ, to be like, there's two guys coming in here. Do I block Kenneth Murray or just make sure, you know, I'm sure that they are educated to block the furthest outside man, but we should praise these offensive linemen when we see this stuff. Because again, this ends up being an easy first down. It's just a great play call to get down the field and get themselves in position. But Penei Sewell seals the outside man. And in doing so, Kenneth Murray can't get near this either. So it's the right decision to make. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets to the outside. And then look, Penei Sewell's like first down. I love this guy. Like, it's very rare to have as much passion for an offensive lineman as I do for Penei Sewell after watching this game, but it makes me want to watch more of him as an offensive lineman. Just, you know, I know they're not always the most glamorous guys, but look at this. Like, look at the movement. Like, he is so fluid for a guy of his size, and then just gets down the field. He's bought into the play. Like, he might not be the guy carrying the football, but he celebrates with this team like he is. Now, a couple of plays later, when you think about this offense and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam LaPorta, Jameson Williams, like the guy that you're not worrying about is Brock Wright, which is why this is such a genius play, because look at how many guys they've got down on the line. And I don't know, I think it might be like 3rd and 1 or something. I don't know the down and distance, but for Jared Goff to, like, the only guy that runs a real route here is Brock Wright. And look at all of these guys, like, they think, all right, they're going to try and run this up the middle, kind of get the first down in the red zone. They fake it. Brock Wright goes over the top and he ends up catching a touchdown. This is a really nice throw from Jared Goff as well to just drop it over the head of the safety. But everyone comes crashing down. Nobody runs a route except Brock Wright, who just kind of slips out the back and ends up scoring a touchdown. And again, this is kind of credit to this offense and to Ben Johnson. They had this Chargers defense trying to guess their way through this game the whole way. Now, another great job here in selling the run fake. Watch Eric Kendricks on this fake run, and you've got Khalif Raymond coming across from right to left, who will slip out the back door. So, fake run. Look at Eric Kendricks. That, you know, be careful your ACLs there, sir. Watch out for that, all right? Now, Jared Goff, like, ends up, just look at this. Like, again, look at the space. Look at this space. This is crazy. They were bullying the Chargers in this game, and Khalif Raymond is just off down the sideline. And is that a face mask? Dude, how did I not catch that? Wait. Look, like, do you think that is a face mask? Yeah, nearly pulls his head clean off. All right, that might be Derwin James, like, a little kind of frustrated at this point. Ref, what are we looking at? I mean, sir, you are right there. What are you watching? That is, I mean, look at the motion of Khalif Raymond's body. All right, but you get what I mean with the play. Again, just involving your guys. They have, like, they're just... All right, I can't compliment them anymore. I hope that this video is doing the justice to you as either a Lions fan or just a football fan, that they're all in on it, right? It's Penei Sewell, it's Taylor Decker, it's Graham Glasgow, it's Frank Ragnow, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam LaPorta, Brock Wright, whoever you want, they're all in on it. And it is absolute beauty to watch. Now, this is all part of the game-winning drive, so I don't have too much to add on this one, apart from, again, clean pocket for Jared Goff, throws it out to the sideline to Amon-Ra St. And if you watched my previous video, the Carolina Panthers video, this is almost the exact same play that I pointed out with Bryce Young, where it's just someone runs off deep and you have an out route for the inside man. Bryce Young was looking at that and he didn't throw it. In the NFL, you throw that out to the sideline. And someone said to me like, oh no, the DB would have jumped on that route. They can't. If you place that football well to the outside shoulder, and this is something I do know and I will say confidently, if you have an out-breaking route, as long as the guy's not already run that route for him and beaten him out there, if you have the separation or at least 2 yards, and that guy obviously has to play, defend the end zone first, if you throw that out to the sideline, it's open. And Jared Goff here does a great job of that. Look, as Amon-Ra makes his break, he knows that he's got, he's instinctively thinking this is going to be open because the deep man's running off. Amon-Ra St. wide open towards the sideline. Now, this is all to set up the game-winning field goal. Now, this is 4th and 2 with the game tied at 38 points apiece. Now, I don't know if you remember this game. I'm sure if you're a Lions fan that you do. If you're a Chargers fan, you might have tried to forget it. But either way, this is 4th and 2, right? So, and again, this is where I think it was great to see that Sam LaPorta made the big play that ended the game ultimately. After watching the effort level, like the only other guy I think would have been more deserving of it in this game was Penei Sewell, right? But you see Sam LaPorta, like this is how you become your quarterback's best friend, right? In 4th and 2, finds the soft spot, sits down in the zone between Derwin James and the outside corner, catches the football for a first down. Huge play, and that is the play that ultimately ended this game. They went out and kicked a field goal. They won 41-38. You get the motion across to the right, which, and again, cleverly, that motion to the right just slides Kenneth Murray a couple of steps across so that when Sam LaPorta comes like back the other way, that gap is there. And again, I don't know if that's intentional. That would all be, down to, I'm not in the room. So like, these are all just observations that I'm making from watching these games. Again, I don't claim to be an expert. It's just what I can see. Jared Goff, once again, clean pocket, and yeah, all right, he's got somebody kind of backed onto him a little bit here in this one. Maybe not the cleanest of pockets, but this is what we saw in this whole game. Just like time to survey the field, even on a 4th down. And I think just makes enough of a play. It's not the most glamorous play in the world, but it was enough, and it gets the first down. And then the Lions kick the field goal to win it. They all celebrate together. And look at the celebration, man. Like this, if you're a Lions fan, this is just such a cool team to be a fan of right now. Like these guys are just, they are loving each other. They are all in for one another. And I don't see a reason that this team can't win a Super Bowl this year. I enjoyed watching this game so freaking much. It was an absolute pleasure to sit down and watch. And I just said a few minutes ago, like everybody on this offense is making a play. Everybody. There isn't a guy within that offense that's slacking or not making the effort or not pulling for another man standing beside him, whether it's Jameson Williams getting a block downfield or David Montgomery creating a gap or one of the offensive linemen getting downfield and blocking for somebody, Sam LaPorta, Brock Wright. It's just, I am so impressed and I'm so happy for Lions fans that they get to witness and enjoy this. This was a pleasure. I enjoyed this very much. And as a Miami Dolphins fan, I'm going to enjoy Friday's video a hell of a lot less when we go through that meltdown in the last 2 weeks of the regular season that ultimately cost them the AFC East division, sent them on the road into like freezing cold conditions in Kansas City, and once again straight out of the playoffs. I'm yet to see my team win a playoff game in the time that I've been alive and understood that the NFL exists. All right. So enjoy this, all right? It's precious. Enjoy it. I'm happy for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop me a comment with who you would like to see studied next. I really want to do that CJ Stroud playoff game against the Cleveland Browns, so I think we're going to try and come up with that next. Please do leave me any tips, comments, play designs, all that sort of stuff down in the comment section below. Let's just create, I just want to have this great environment where we actually talk ball rather than talk crap on the internet, because there's too much of it these days where people are just giving each other crap on the internet rather than actually coming together and being like, let's watch the game together. Let's talk about it together. Let's see what we can see. So I appreciate you being here. I do really appreciate you checking this video out. Please do subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.